Hello guys, my name is Kaushik and welcome back to Lambda Test. In this video, we are going to learn a few concept from Playwright that is very special and makes the Playwright very cool. For example, without even writing the test script, we are going to execute a test with the help of Playwright Test Recorder. And followed by, we are going to learn about the Playwright reporters, and we'll also see like how to take a screenshot or a video on the test failure, or if you want to take the test reporter for each and every execution, that is also possible. And we'll also see like how to retry for a test if there is any exception, like if there is any failure. And lastly, we learn the auto wait mechanism of the Playwright. So let's get started now. So this is our test script we have written in our previous video. Like here we are getting the browser, then followed by the context and the page, and then we are just navigating to that particular site. We are doing some login, and we learned about the new context and the new page, like what is the exact use of that, right? So we are going to repeat the same, the login example, but this time we are not going to write any code. Rather, we are going to use the Playwright facility or feature to do that. Okay, I'm going to bring up my terminal with the help of Ctrl+J, and here I'm going to say like npx, then followed by Playwright, and then followed by code gen. Okay, so this command is basically used to we can say like record the test, or we can also say like to generate the test script. Okay, so here you can see like we got the browser, and here we got the Playwright inspector. Okay, so by default it will be in the record mode, so whatever the actions we are going to perform here, that will be recorded here. Okay, so for example, first of all, let's copy the URL of this particular site. So I'm going to copy this, and here I will just paste and click enter. So we are just doing the navigation, right? So if you see this inspector, await page.goto, and then followed by we got the exact same URL, right? Now of course it's a recorder, so 100% like it is not very enhanced, I can say, but comparing to the Selenium the IDE, it is really good. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to first mouse over on this my account, and then I have to click on this login, right? So I'm going to click on that login, and here I have to pass my credential. So that's going to be like Kaushik350@gmail.com, and I have clicked on the tab, so it will, the mouse cursor will go to the next text box. We'll see that in code like how does it performed. Okay, and here I'm going to give my password, and then I'm going to click on this login. Once the page is logged in, I'm going to click on this like edit your account information, and here my first name is like LetCode Kaushik, so I'm going to change that. Like here I will just delete the existing value, and I will just name it like Kaushik. Okay, and then I'll click on this continue, and once again I will mouse over and I will do the logout. Okay, so that's it, my task is done now. Okay, now let's see the code. So here if I expand this or maximize this in Playwright inspector, here you can see like we got all the code. Okay, and here you can see like we have like Playwright test, that is what we are learning now. Apart from that, if you want the Java code, you can get that. If you want the JavaScript code, you can get that, and Python, PyTest, C#, all the codes are available. Okay, so we are going to use the Playwright test, that is nothing but the TypeScript code. Okay, and here we have a copy button, so I'm going to click on that, and that's it. Now let's go to our VS Code. I'm going to create a new test file here. Let's name it like recorded.test.ts. okay, and I'm going to paste it, I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to close this code gen browser as well as the inspector. Okay, now if I go up here, first thing you will notice something different is like here directly we are saying like page.goto, and we are traversing to the URL. But in our previous video we learned that we have to launch the browser in this way, right? This is correct, but like you don't have to use this always. Okay, that is the beauty of Playwright Test Runner. Okay, so here if you see, here we are using like parameter where we are getting the page. Okay, this concept is known as fixture. We'll talk about this in detail in our upcoming videos, but as of now, just for the learning, remember that always we don't have to write this lines of code. So from here, right, page.goto. So this page is basically the new page from the context. Context is from the browser, right? We got the same page object from the fixture directly. Now I will repeat once again. Do not worry about like what is this page, where from it's coming, and what is fixture. It's a really easy concept. I will try to make it more simpler in the upcoming videos. Okay, so from now onwards we are going to use this kind of test, and here we'll just directly use the page. We won't repeat this 3 lines of code here. Okay, so let's go and see how does this executes now. So if I go to my playwright.config, here we know that within the test match we have to specify the folder and then followed by the file name. In my case, this is going to be like recorded.test.ts. I'm going to copy that, and here I'm going to change. Okay, now I'm going to bring up my terminal, Control J, and here I'm going to say like npx playwright, then followed by test. To execute the test, we have to use this command. Okay, now here you'll notice something like this is going to run, but if you see the taskbar, I'm not getting any browser. Okay, if you remember in our previous video also I said that Playwright by default runs in the headless mode. That means it is executing, but we cannot see the graphical user interface, right? So to fix that, what we have done is like here within the launch option we have said like headless false. So we are going to do the same but in a different way. So go to your config file, and here we are going to add a comma, and then followed by I'm going to use this property called use, and within that, within the object, I'm going to say like headless and then followed by false. Okay, so as I said earlier, playwright.config.ts file is basically like configuration for across all the tests. So whatever we are going to do here, that will reflect to all the tests. Okay, now here we got some failure. That's absolutely fine. We don't have to worry. Let's expand this and let's see. Okay, so here it says like we are not able to click on this login button. Why? In the sense like if I show you my code base, we are navigating to that particular site, and straight away we are clicking on this login. But what we have to do exactly is we have to mouse hover on the account side. So if I go to my previous test, that is login.test.ts, here you can see like we are doing some mouse hover and then we are clicking on the login, correct? So let's add this here, this line to this. So by the way, the Playwright Test Recorder cannot capture all the actions, but I think if you compare with any other tools, it is really good. Okay, and before logout also we have to do the same. So I'll just paste this here as well. Okay, so I hope you remember the UI, or else let's run this and see one more time. Okay, so I'm going to bring up my terminal once again, and I'm going to run. This time we can see the browser as well. So here is my application, and it's going to do the mouse hover on the my account, and then it's going to click on the login, and then it's going to do the login very quickly, and it went there and it typed the name and it logged out. Okay, so that's very simple and it's very easy. Okay, so here if I go if I walk through the code, it's very simple actually. We'll go to that particular site, we'll mouse over on this my account, and here we are finding the login text, and here you can see like some weird kind of, this is not XPath, basically this is not also a CSS, this is a Playwright locator engine, we can say, like these are like specific to the Playwright locator. We cannot find this in the Chromium browser, like we cannot, like the way we used to find the XPath, we cannot do the same with this locator, but there is a way to find this locator as well in Playwright. We will talk about that in our upcoming videos. Okay, and here you can see like we are going to click on this email address because I clicked on this on that text box, so it's taken that action as well, but we know this is not required, but we'll just leave as it is. And here you can see like once I entered my email, then I have click on the tab. So here the function is press, and then followed by you have to say like tab, enter, control plus shift. So whatever the actions you have to give, just give in the terms of string. Okay, and here we have given the password. We have clicked on the login. Again, if you see, this is like Playwright locator engine, and expect page to have URL. Okay, this is like web first assertion in Playwright. We'll talk about this in our next video. As of now, just remember, like, this is kind of assert in test_ng, or if you know Playwright, protector, it is like the same expect. Okay, and then we are clicking on some edit information, and again we are filling the first name, and we are clicking on the continue button, and we are doing again a verification, and we are mouse hovering on the account, and we are clicking on the sign out, log out. Once that is done, we are checking the some verification step based on the URL. Okay, so that's it, very simple. This is the recorder feature of Playwright, which is very neat, clean, and very useful. At times, if you want to save, like you don't want to write the whole script, like for a simple screen at least, you can use the recorder. Okay, now let's move to the next topic. Let's learn about the reporter in Playwright, and it's going to be very simple, and there's a wide variety of reporters, and it's going to be very simple. You don't have to write any code. Okay, so go to your playwright.config.ts file and or js file, and then here we have to give like reporters, and here we can see like we have plenty of reporters. For example, we have like dot, line, GitHub, JSON, JUnit, and HTML. Okay, we are going to focus on the dot and the HTML and also the JSON. Okay, so it's basically an array. Within the array we can give like array of datas. So here I can say like first one, it can be like dot, and then followed by again I can give one more data which can be like JSON. Okay, and then I have to say the path here. So within the array we'll say like JSON, and then within the object we'll say like output file or the folder. Okay, we'll just name it like output file, and I want to store that maybe within like something like JSON report as a folder, and JSON reports as a folder, and within that I will say like JSON report as my file name dot JSON. Okay, so this is going to be my folder name, then this is going to be my file name, and this is the extension of the file. Okay, similarly we can have our HTML as well. So here I'm going to say like one more array, and here I'm going to give like HTML, and then within the HTML also we have plenty of options. Like you want to open the file, like if we give like always, that means like after each and every test the report will open itself. I'm going to give this as of now. Other than that we have like never, that means reporter won't open by itself. We have to navigate to that folder and we have to open it, and if there is any failure we can use this as well. Okay, so I'm going to give never as of now. Let's see later on like how to open it manually. Okay, so that's it. This is the reporting part. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my terminal again, and I'm going to execute the same test. Let's see. Okay, so the test is completed, and here if you see we got a new folder called playwright-report, right? And within that we have like index.html. Okay, so let's open this file in our explorer, and here if I go within that I can see like index.html file. So I'm going to open that in my Chrome browser, and this is how the test result is going to look like. Okay, so if you click on this test, and here you can see like we have like multiple steps, like what are the steps we have followed. So we have navigated to that particular site, then we have done some hover action, we have click on the login, and we have like some assertion, and we have after hooks. So like we have like before hooks and the after hooks. So if you are familiar with Selenium, Cucumber, you already know like what is hooks, right? Which is like something runs before and runs after the test. So here we have before hooks, like it will open the browser context, and here we have like after hooks which will close the browser context. Okay, what are those? In the sense like we will talk about that more in detail in while learning the fixture. Okay, so just to give you some glimpse about it, like here we are using this page which is like your fixture concept, and here we are not opening the browser, and after the end of the script here I'm not closing, right? But if you see this login.test, here I have opened the browser and also like okay, I didn't close actually, but we should do the closing. Okay, the open and close will happen by itself. That is the beauty of this whole concept. We'll talk about that more in detail in our upcoming videos. Okay, so we got the HTML report. It looks very simple, but we can do more on this. We'll come back to this in a moment. Okay, and here if I go, and here we got one more folder called JSON reports, and within that we have got the JSON report .json as a JSON file. Okay, so this is the one, this one. Okay, and dot in the sense like if I bring up my control J, that is terminal, here you can see one dot, right? So based on number of test, if it's going to pass, it will give us a green dot. If it's going to fail, it will give us a red color dot. Okay, so that's really good, but I'm missing something. Like I want to see the screenshot or I want to see the video of the test. Okay, that's going to be very simple actually. So here if you go, and here I can say like screenshot. So within the use we have to say like screenshot, and then we have three options. You can off, by default it's off, it won't take any of the screenshot. You can on, like for each and every test it will take the screenshot. In case there is any failure, it will take the screenshot. Okay, so I'm going to give this on as of now. And then also we have one more option like video, and then here also we have like four options: off, on first retry, and return on failure, retry with video. Okay, so we have like 5 options. I will go with the on, and probably I'll show you the others demo in a while. Okay, and yeah, so this is not a prop, we can remove this as a string. Yeah, so video and then followed by on. Okay, now let's go and run this one more time. Let's see. And by the way, this Playwright reporter folder will delete and it will recreate for each and every execution. So the entire test won't like stack up. Basically it will try to create new reporter for each and every test. When I say every test, in the sense like it's not like for each and every file it will create a, like for every entire test suite until it executes and complete, it will keep the record. Okay, so here you can select, we have a command like npx playwright show report. If I give that, it will open up the report in the browser, but already we know that this is going to within this folder it's going to create the test reporter. So we can just navigate there and we can click on this index.html. Now here you can see like we got this screenshot, like screenshot it will be taken after the test. So this is our last step, right? So we have logged out from our account, so we got the screenshot. If you click on this link, that file will be in a like larger size, the png file will get. Okay, and here you can see the video. Okay, that is the beauty of Playwright. We don't have to do anything extra. It is like out of the box feature. Okay, so I'm going to play it and I'm going to expand this as well. So you can see like what exactly happened. So here it moves over on the my account, then clicked on the login. So whatever the test steps we have given, it will just record the entire test. Okay, so that is the really cool feature of Playwright, and I think this is very useful in case of reporting. Okay, now you might ask me, hey, if I take screenshot or video for each and every test, then definitely the reporter size will be huge, right? Of course it will be huge because we are taking the videos. Even though it is compressed, but still the size will be huge. So what we can do is we can simply say like I want only on failure, or if I want to if I want to retry the test, then I can go with that. Okay, so for example, like retain on failure, in the sense like if there is any failure, in that case only it will take the screenshot, screenshot as well as video. Okay, so here we can configure like for only on failure. Okay, now let me run and show you. Before that, I'm going to fail the script explicitly so that we can see that. Okay, so here let's say that somewhere in this to have URL, right? So here I'm going to change this. Okay, so instead of logout, I will just make it like login. So our test script will fail. If there is any failure, then we'll get the screenshot as well as the video. Okay, so I'm going to bring up this terminal, and for each and every execution we are saying like npx playwright test, npx playwright test. We can make that very simple. We can go to our package.json file, and within the script, right? So within the script I can say like I want to name it like test, and then I can say like npx playwright then followed by test. Okay, now I can simply say like npm run test or npm test. That will basically execute my test. I don't have to say like npx playwright test each and every time. Okay, eventually it will call that command internally. That's a very simple. So here we can see like how test script is going to run, and at the last step it's going to fail, and the failure screenshot and the video we can see. Okay, so here you can see that the URL is logout, but in our case we have given like login, so it's going to fail. Okay, now if I go to my reporter folder and if I open this, you can see like we got the red here, and if I go to my console, here also you can see like we are going to get a red dot here, right? I mean the F. Okay, F in red in the sense like it's a fail. Okay, if it's going to be a pass, it will give us a green dot. Okay, so that is what this a dot reporter means. Okay, now if I open my HTML file, the reporter, here you can see like this is what we expected, but we got this one, so this is the actual. So here is a failure. Of course it's a failure, and here is the failure step you can see, and here is our screenshot, that's the failure one, and here is the video. Okay, if this is going to pass, we won't get the screenshot or the video, because that is what we have configured in our config file. So based on your requirement you can do that. And also we have one more option like retry. Okay, so here I can say like not here, we have to give this within this. Okay, so retries in the sense like you can say like number of times you want to retry. Okay, so for example if you give like 1 or 2, so if there is any failure, so if I mouse on this, you can see, you can read the documentation. If there is any failure, it will try to execute the same test again and again based on the number you are going to mention. Okay, so here I'm going to run and show you that one. Of course here it's like the expect error, so of course we have done it intentionally. Even though we retry, of course there's no like, actually it's not going to pass anyway, it's going to fail. But consider a scenario where like data is not loaded properly or the page is not loaded properly, and when we do the retry it might get passed, right? In that scenario this retry is going to really help us. Okay, it's similar to your test.ng retry, but there we have to write a lot of code. Here it's just a configuration file. That is the best part of Playwright, I can say. Okay, so here you can select the first one got failure, so second time it's again running. Okay, so like this is my retry number 1. Again it should do another retry. Okay, so here we got like 2 failures. I mean Of course we have retried and the retry is also failed, that is expected, right? So that's okay anyways. Okay, so here you can see the report. The run is the first one, which is our actual script, and retry is basically it's trying to rerun again. So we have number of 2 retries, so it's giving like retry 1, retry 2. Okay, so that is how the reporter is going to look like, and it's really helpful. Okay, so we'll get the screenshot, we'll get the video, but we don't have to do anything. It's just a configuration part. Okay, so that's the beauty of Playwright, and I hope you are enjoying this Playwright as of now. Okay, so lastly we are going to learn the auto wait mechanism, but I'm not going to give you the demo. Rather, I'm going to give you the documentation because it's really huge. I cannot give you demo for each and every actions, but I will try to bring some useful context maybe in future video. Okay, so here this is the auto wait link, I mean official documentation from Playwright. I will leave the link in the description, kindly check that. And also all the source code you can find in my GitHub repository. So just go to github.com/𝑹𝒆𝒑𝒂𝒂𝒚𝒔, and if you go to the repository, here we have like Playwright TS lambda test. I will leave this link in the description as well. You can check it out from there. Okay, so here you can see like before each and every actions, let's say that it's going to do the check or click or double click or some another options like actions, then it's going to attach, it will check like whether the element is attached to the DOM, if it's visible, if it's stable, if it's receiving any events, and then if it's enabled. Based on this many conditions, Playwright actions will be done. Okay, so here you can see the kind of like chart where they have mentioned like if you are going to do the click action, definitely it will wait until the element is attached, visible, stable, all the events are completed, if it's enabled. Okay, and fill in the sense like kind of send case, right? So if it's editable, we'll wait until that particular text box become editable. Okay, so that is how the Playwright works, and it's really very easy. If you know a little bit of JavaScript and the TypeScript, it's going to be very easy. Okay, so that's it from my side. If you have any queries, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll see you in the next one very soon. Tada, bye bye, take care.